Just one more in that vein, perhaps. I was sitting talking to my beautiful wife who threw my hand up just now, and I've said philosophers have broken their brains over the idea of nothingness. And I always thought, well, there isn't any nothing. The universe is full of energy of some sort or another. And then my wife said, well, there is that contrast between everything and nothing, or something and nothing, because what would we expand into if we're always expanding?
Look at it this way. It's a riddle that you've asked yourselves for a long time. If a tree falls in the forest and there is no one there to hear it, did it make a sound? And the answer is no, because the tree falling offered a vibration. But unless there was an eardrum there to translate the vibration into the sound, there was no sound. And so, unless there is someone there to perceive, then there is nothing.
Right. Just like electricity has to have two poles to flow between, right? Yeah. There has to be a connection. That answered it.
We don't know a place of nothingness. You see, it's not possible, because if we know of the place, then we are perceiving, and then it can't be nothing. Yes?
Yes.
But conceptually, there must be nothing out there. Oh, but now it's not nothing because we're thinking about it.
That makes us creators.
It's really good. Yes, it does.
Thank you very much.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you. I just did one of your processes and said, wouldn't it be nice if you called on me? And it was.
Took all the resistance out of it, didn't it?
Yeah, because I'd been worrying about it all day. And my question is about prayer. I pray about an hour a day, and about half of it is prayer of adoration, and half of it is prayer of supplication. And I've been wondering lately, the bottom line is it just a waste of my time?
Not at all. Not at all. But think about it. In light of what we've been talking here today, this question could not have come at a better time, given what we've just been talking about. So there are prayers from the receptive mode. Those are those prayers of appreciation.
Adoration and appreciation.
And then there are prayers from need and fear and worry.
Supplications.
So those prayers are a waste of time.
Yeah, I kind of thought that. It seemed like half my time I'm just sort of begging God. You know, I mean, people ask me, for example, would I pray for their family member who is sick? And you think, well, I'm basically begging God to intervene and do something for them.
Well, here's the thing that we really want you to understand. Anytime anyone is asking for anything, it is given. Source answers every time. We wrote a whole book about it. Ask and it is given. And the way we are explaining that to you is when you ask, you put it into the vortex, and then law of attraction and what you want to call God, source energy, responds to it. But the receiving of the blessing or the prayer or the result or the solution isn't about God withholding. It's about the recipient being in the receptive mode or not. And when you are in fear, you're not in the receptive mode. That's why sometimes it's very beneficial when someone who's all bound up and frightened over something can ask someone who's more removed from it to give it their attention, because you can offer a prayer of appreciation and you can ask for something. When you ask for something in a state of belief that it will be, it is. When you ask for something in a fear that it won't be, then it can't be. But it's not because God or source is holding out on you, it's that you're not letting it in.
Okay.
Isn't that nice to know?
That's nice to know.
We think the most powerful prayer that you could offer is one of appreciation. And you do it so easily. And when you are in appreciation, you're in the receptive mode. So here's a way to say it to you. Just pray in your appreciation. What is the word that you are using?
Sometimes supplication, sometimes adoration.
Adoration. When you are praying from your thankful, blessed feeling of adoration and appreciation, all your prayers can be answered.
Right.
So just only go there. Imagine if you could be thankful for the problem, the solution would come. When you're begging for the solution, you can't hear it. You got to be thankful for the problem, because it puts you in the place of asking. And if you're not asking, you cannot receive. But you got to ask and get into the receiving mode. You're following this, aren't you?
Yes.
So do you have questions about how to go about it, or have you got that?
I think I've got that.
We think you do too.
Yeah. I have a different question I might ask,
Yeah?
though, unrelated to prayer.
Yeah?
A year ago, I was on vacation with my beautiful wife in Hawaii, and we were hiking in some rugged mountains, and I slipped and fell about 25 feet, broke both legs, so rugged that it had to be helicoptered out. And I was thinking, why did that happen? How did that happen? I had never thought about falling and breaking my legs and whatever. And when I think about it, I wonder if it's because last year, just before I retired, I was in a difficult conflict with the department head that I was very negative about, had a lot of criticism about. And I wondered if that negativity
It could have started
was
some of...
experienced
Maybe.
as a fall, a
Maybe.
break.
It could have started some of the momentum about that. But there's something else that is bigger, and that is the helicopter came.
Yes.
The solution is always there, because you'd been asking about that. You've been questioning whether your prayers are bringing answers.
Mm-hmm.
You were questioning that here today.
They're always answered.
They're always answered, but not until you get into that high-flying place. Some years ago, we were visiting with a couple, two physicians married to each other, and young children, and they were all new and excited about the ideas that Abraham was presenting. And they were believing that they create their own reality and enjoying the newfound confidence that they were all feeling in that. They lived out in the desert, and they had a private plane that they were flying in and out of this sort of remote place. And then they were flying in, and they misunderstood the direction of the wind, and the plane flipped over and caught fire as they were landing. Well, they all escaped the fire with very minor cuts and bruises and a little bit of burn, but very little. A big survival of a plane crash. And now this mother is back in the hot seat, wanting to know what to tell her children, because they are feeling not so sure about their deliberate creating. And we said, but they should feel more sure than ever, because they walked away. How many people walk away? In other words, talk about well-being that is dominant even under that condition. They should feel more, and that's what we are saying to you also. In other words, of course you don't want to fall, but you can always get back up. Of course you don't enjoy being out of connection with source energy, even for a moment, but the fact that the rescue is always there, the solution is always there. So it makes us want to say to you that the vibration of a problem and the vibration of a solution are two very different vibrations. Just like the vibration of a question and the vibration of an answer are two very different vibrations. And that's why in a question in prayer, that's a different vibration than the answer in prayer. While appreciation in prayer is the same vibration as the answer to the appreciation. You see what we're getting at? So isn't it wonderful that you get to have experiences that cause you to ask questions so that you can receive the answers? Isn't this just this ongoing process of expansion, joyous expansion that we are all about? So we wouldn't spend any time looking back at what you did wrong to cause something that you are considering wrong, like falling 25 feet. We wouldn't call falling 25 feet wrong. We'd call it an experience that caused stronger asking, that brought an answer and therefore benefit to you.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just as an aside, when we were out hiking, we were looking for a waterfall, and after I fell and was helicoptered out, I got a beautiful view of the waterfall that my wife didn't get.
That's not something to kid about. That's all part of it. That's all part of it. Wonderful. Enough?
Thank you.
Second row.